Earthquake test. You can see this is on an angle. This is all out of square. This was a really, really tight one. I know they only had 2 hours. You have the added pressure of the cameras. Everybody's kind of scrambling around, but after careful deliberation, I think I'm gonna have to go with.
Pay attention, Brian. I decided to create an open invitation where any carpenter from the internet is welcome to step up and go head-to-head in a carpentry competition. I will not be competing today, but my 2 apprentices will. Both competitors have the same 15 by 15 space to work within, and we made sure the slopes are even on both sides. Both competitors are given exact and equal, identical piles of material to frame with, and I gave them way more than they need, just to confuse them. Both competitors have equal access to all the crap on these shelves if they need it. And they both have access to any tool in my arsenal, but we decided to divide them 50-50 in advance.
How we doing, everyone? My name's Josh. I've been with Gord for about 3 months now. When it comes to carpentry, I've been doing that for about 10 years.
My name's Bobby. I've been working with Gord for just under 2 months now. My background, I've been framing for about a year, and I've been doing decks and fences for about 3 or 4 years.
I'm gonna have them build a deck based on a photo, give them the dimensions, but they're not going to see how to frame it. They're just going to have to figure out how it's supposed to be framed. I'm giving them exactly 2 hours to finish it. Personally, I think I could get it done in an hour. I wanted to give them at least 2 hours because I'd like them to really be able to show what they're capable of, but if we give them any more time than that, they could build the Taj Mahal.
Going against Bobby, on site, I'd be the lead hand, he's more of the laborer learning. So I think when it comes to the edge on building, I think I'm gonna have a slight upper hand on him. I'm not gonna take nothing away from him.
I think he has a bit more experience than I do, but I'm gonna give it a good try, and I'm gonna make sure it's a good challenge.
I've seen his work, I've worked with him. I know he's gonna do quite well today. When it comes to what we're using, OC lumber as well. Being with Gord longer, I think that's gonna help me more than it helps him because he's got a shorter time using the material we're using.
He has the edge over me in some things, but I think I'm definitely way more athletic than him, so I'll get stuff done a bit faster, hopefully. I think he has been in the game a bit longer, so he might have a few little tactics that I might not know about, but like I said, I definitely think I can work faster and at a better pace than he can, because he's slow.
For me, this is a really simple build. So what I would do, first things first, set up a laser, put my posts on the ground, cut them all to the laser. And then I'd create a cut list. I'd cut all of my pieces, and then I would assemble. And then I'd be done. And honestly, 45 minutes to an hour, I think I'd have that finished. Once the framing's done, then I measure, cut the stairs, nail them in place. It'd be pretty quick. But then again, in these challenges, it's easy to think you'll get something done and you never know what's actually gonna happen or what kind of wrenches are gonna be thrown your way. I do suspect that they will do something similar, but you never know.
Normally we build, right in the dirt with saddles or footings. This time, I guess we're building on just a plain concrete floor with no saddles, so.
The posts that we're gonna be building on aren't actually gonna be set. So I think a lot of time is gonna be taken up trying to make sure everything's set properly.
It's definitely going to be different trying to figure out a way to keep everything solid and sturdy without it being fastened to the dirt.
One thing I've learned from doing these competitions is that time management is everything. You have to be realistic about what you're capable of building in that time frame and make sure you stick to it. If you wander or if you start getting weird ideas, which I do, you're going to have issues. Either you're not going to finish the project or it's going to be a lot rougher than it should be, and therefore you will lose.
I've seen a lot of the other wood bully challenges. I've seen a lot of tactics, studied up on videos.
Just in the past episodes, there's definitely been a couple things that I've seen other competitors and Gord specifically do that I think I can bring into this today.
So I think I know a lot of ways that I can not cut corners per se, but speed up the process to make it a lot easier in a smaller amount of time.
Working in a backyard, building a deck, a fence, or framing something, and then either working in a competition, there's always going to be problems that come up, and I think my best bet is just to try to stay calm and work around them and just do my best at the end of the day.
Keep in mind, they don't know what they're building yet, so let's bring them out and show them what they're up against. Let's show the boys the picture of what they'll be framing today. Come here. Here is a deck that is very simple. sort of a home base plate?
I think we all assumed it was just gonna be a square or a rectangle. I think as soon as I saw the photo, then you're thinking there's angles involved.
The parameters are, truthfully, a 10 by 10, 2 feet high. There is no house here, so it's freestanding. You're building a freestanding structure. Obviously, it's not gonna float in outer space. So, that's what you got to figure out. 10 foot by 10 foot is the full square, 2 feet high.
2 feet high? All right, I like that. All right.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Chuck here is going to keep time. You have exactly 2 hours. 3, 2, 1, go.
As soon as I put my pouch on, there's so much stress going on thinking about what am I gonna do in this short amount of time. I'm gonna write down it should be about 10 by 10. I'm gonna write it down here.
Obviously the crunch was in and you want to start building and going, but like the layout is the most important part of the whole thing. I'm just writing the dimensions down so I have them with me. Very likely we could forget. I mean, we know it, he's already said it, but I'm just gonna write them here just so I don't forget.
Obviously, the more time you spend, the higher quality you're going to yield, but order of operations is key with a competition like this, and you need to plan ahead. So given the fact that they didn't see what they were building until 5 seconds before they started, I didn't expect them to be able to plan ahead.
So it's 10 by 10, but it's not a true 10 by 10 because we got that home base style look on it. So we're gonna have to make sure we get our angles right and keep everything nice and square. Just drew it up there quick, figure out how many beams I need, figure out where the steps are gonna go, and we're just gonna start getting at this. Okay, he's moving. It's not always about speed. I'd rather get set up properly, have everything ready, and then we'll shoot everything and get her going. Is she gonna work today? There she goes.
We gotta cut our post down. So I'm just trying to envision what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna need a saw, I need a bucket to hold that up. So right now, I'm gonna cut these to 20 inches just so I can put them down. I'm gonna set up my laser, and then after the laser's gonna shine on all these posts, I'll mark them, and then I know what's level.
14 3/4, which means I need my post to be 10 1/4.
On level ground. That's gonna be a problem, this challenge. It's just gonna be hard to get this done in 2 hours, so I'm just trying to go. Why is this bucket?
So we got those cut. We're gonna cut our first beam. We're gonna triple it up at the back. They're 20 footers, cut them in half, get 2 right away.
What are we doing?
We're rolling with it right now. Getting the first back post set up.
Smells like burning rubber, I love it. So laser's genius because both arenas, they adulate in very remarkably similar ways, but they're not straight. So you definitely need to have a laser if you're gonna establish a level deck.
See what my boy Bobby's up to. See the gears moving up there. He's thinking. I don't know what he's thinking. Interesting choice. 2x4s. So far, we're neck and neck.
I gotta take this off. It's gonna mess with the microphone.
You want me to snatch it?
Yeah, here.
He just gave me his gold chain. I don't think that's gonna sway the judging in any way. He doesn't know I'm not a judge, so I don't know why he's giving me the blame. I'll keep it.
Because so this is 17 inches high. It's about how high we want our post, about 17 inches. So I'm gonna set this up, see how level it is.
Hey Josh, Bobby gave me his necklace. I don't know what you're gonna give me, but
You think we're just giving out gifts today?
if you want to secure the deal, you might want to
You're not even the judge, he's already sweetening up to you.
give me your belly button ring or something.
I can give you my left nipple ring.
Do you have one?
No.
We'll do the reveal at the end of the video.
They give you these bits? Listen, never use that stuff.
Yeah!
They make way better bits for a reason, okay? Great screws, horrible bits. This is the bit you want, okay? Look in there, a magnet. It catches it, actually useful. Now OC is great. Sometimes it just helps a little bit to throw that pre-drill in. It slips right in perfectly.
This is gonna be something different, but okay. That's pretty good. That's actually really good. Okay. I'm gonna use this 2x4 to hold up my post because this isn't perfectly level, right?
Seeing Bobby go for the 2x4s was interesting because I kind of put those there for no reason, just to keep them guessing about what they were going to build.
Didn't even realize I already cut my finger. Hit 3 of these.
Beautiful. Number 1 done. Double check these before we throw them up.
From our experience, we know that the nails don't really catch into the 6x6s, which he later found out.
No, it broke. The nail just punched right through instead of actually sucking it together. This is just gonna have to do, man. I don't got time.
Let's go this way then. Something like that. Beautiful.
I really want to test my skills, see what I can do in this short amount of time, right? But it's definitely not easy. Trying to kind of come up with stuff on the fly like this, really not easy. Now, we need this and these. These are Simpson strong ties. This is normally what we use to put up hangers. That's what we're gonna be doing next. Oh, that's what I forgot. I need saddles.
You come around the back here, we threw this guy in just because it was a single beam. Obviously 2-inch gonna go through there, right? So we'll take him out now and we'll put it in with the proper piece. We got 2 more to throw in. Beautiful. Now the fun part.
We're both definitely taking different routes to this. I'm trying to get everything done, you know. Oh no. I gotta back these up 16 inches. 10 feet wide. That's what happens. Trying to work too fast. Guess we're just gonna have to roll with it. How high did it? I still gotta put my laser still anyways. Cut these down. What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Everything's falling apart here right now.
Beauty. We'll get ahead here too and just throw our layout on this.
I like the way that both guys are doing something completely different approaches, and I have a feeling, for their sake, they have a similar finished product. Josh, what are you doing? You feel confident?
Yeah, I feel good. I don't know what he's doing right now. I set this up so I'm gonna have my drop beams, run my joist right across, hangers on the back. I'm very intrigued to see what his game plan actually is.
I look over and I have no idea what he's doing, but he's doing it with confidence, and I like that.
So what are you doing first here? You setting the post?
Yeah, I'm kind of having a hard time with this. Trying to figure out what kind of order I want to do things.
You're working on getting the height?
Yeah, so I got the height now. All these are cut and these should be level.
I see you learned that these posts don't take nails very well.
No, they don't.
That's real world experience you picked up on the spot. Posts don't really like the nails too much. Bobby's learned that, and he's gonna carry that forward to the future.
Yeah, we just made that beam. We're gonna make an exact identical beam, moved out, and then we'll make one shorter beam. And that'll be all the bottom part done and set up.
You got this whole thing visualized in your
I've already
head
planned
already?
it out, yeah.
You did the numbers in your head
Once
already?
you get this out, that laser's the closest thing we got to alien technology. So this thing will be so precise, because we're not working with a flat floor, right? I think this is part of the setup. You thought we wouldn't think the height changes, but we gotta stay on that.
What are you gonna do to make that level?
So we're gonna make our middle beams bigger. 6x6 will be a little bit higher, so that when the level comes across, they're all the same.
Oh,
And just like that, we'll
the
have
man's
it.
thought of everything. What type of problems do you think you could run into here?
I think it'll be getting that angle right, and I want to give myself enough time to get those stringers made. Because I know stringers eat up time quick, and if you're not ready for it, it might just eat us up.
It's a dog-eat-dog world out here.
That's it, eh? And we're living in it.
Things are getting heated.
First off, I didn't know that if you nail into 6x6 OC lumber that it would crack a little bit. But then after when I took the 2x4 off, I left the nail sticking up. And that's just a mistake that shouldn't happen. But you know, it ended up happening just because I was so focused on other things.
You leaving little death traps for the cameraman, eh? Is that in case the competitor comes over, you want him to catch a nail through the foot? I'd say hammer those over, if you're not gonna use that, hammer those over and toss it out of the way just for safety. Obviously that's good practice. I know you're rushing, but thank you, buddy. Good luck. I'm not sure what he's doing yet, but he's doing it with such confidence that I believe in him.
Dude. Let's move on to building these beams, I guess.
It's probably gonna be somewhere around here. Add 2.5 inches. And that should hit pretty good.
This isn't easy, man. It is not easy. Just trying to work this speed. Just start trying to think about too much and you get off track, really. Let's start putting some beams together.
Bobby's lambing the beam. Look at that nail placement. That's some pretty nice nail placement right there, I must say. How's your back feeling, Bobby? This is gonna be a heavy beam to lift up.
It is gonna be heavy.
But Bobby's a one-man army. He's even got the army green on.
It's definitely gonna be heavy, but
He's got himself
We'll
in
see.
for some heavy lifting. Real feats of strength there.
It's a good nail pattern,
He did that extremely quick too.
and he did it all in an angle too.
Yeah.
It's a good move. He did that beam really quick. Strong beam, nice nail pattern, all put in on a slight skew, helps for hold, and if you alternate those skews, really holds. Josh decided to go with the pilot bit for his brackets. Do you find that just keeps them straight?
when it comes to the OC, like trying to fire these guys in, they don't always want to go. So just that little pilot hole can make the world of a difference for you. Beautiful. Oh, where is she? Oh, it's on my hip. We're gonna do the same thing again. Throw a second beam up, tack him in, and then we're gonna keep rolling.
First beam's up, looks good. Are you doing a drop or a flush? You're doing a drop, yeah? See? Interesting.
Oh, lordy. This ain't easy, man. Build our second beam. This ain't easy. We're already at an hour and a half. We're not even done the beams yet. Jeez
Jesus. There we go. 2 beams done, layouts on that one. Don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. Oh. Bobby,
Yeah, what's up, bud?
you got all of them still? No more cut off fingers?
Not just yet, but they're working.
I would never cut my finger. That's crazy. I noticed right away that his height was gonna be off. Obviously, I'm not gonna be like, hey, Bobby, you're doing it wrong, because it benefited me that he didn't do it right.
Whoa!
Of course. Get this real accurate. We're gonna let our joist hang a foot past. In the picture, there's a house on the wall, right? We're gonna pretend the house is here. We'll let our joist run past our beam. The beam will just be our brace, because we can't put a ledger on, obviously, because we're in the office. 10. Oh, it's gonna have to go backwards for sure. Make that as close as we can. Beautiful. So I had it moved up more there. I almost forgot about the staircase. Deck's 10 by 10, then we gotta come out another 3 feet.
Gord came over and he asked me, he was like, what are you doing? What type of beam are you doing? And I said, just a drop beam. And then he was like, And then I thought about it, and that's when I realized, oh, I'm building this a bit too high. Just with the time crunch being 2 hours, I had so much going on in my head, and I didn't think about taking off another 7 inches for my joist. But you know, that's what happens. I shouldn't have made my post that high, but I had a lower center of gravity. Sucks. What I need to do is, before this falls, get something just to hold these straight.
You having a good time over here?
No, this
Sounds like
not having any
sounds
post
like you're having
spaces.
Blast.
This sucks.
It's only a competition that's timed. Isn't this fun?
No, I don't like it.
I don't know why you'd want to do this to yourself.
You're really getting the arms workout today, though, aren't you?
I guess so.
I think you're doing well.
I'm trying.
You're doing
This
good.
is not easy.
It's hard to do with one hand, so you got to really plan ahead when you're one guy doing what would normally be a 2-man job. You
Yeah, I know.
You got to think of everything and use your materials and tools to your advantage in any way you can.
A little bit of layout here.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and stay on top of it.
What are you doing?
I'm imagining that duct tape is my house wall. So I'm
Oh,
pulling
okay.
everything off of that. I had it a bit too far forward. Stairs wouldn't have fit in the square.
Because you're a forward-thinking guy.
I want to think behind and fix later. I want to fix it now and do it right.
Layout is super important. Take your time, get the layout dialed in, and then it'll play out like a violin, know what I mean?
Hey. Oh, what did we do here? Oh yeah, we're still back there. So we might have to end up cutting this 6 by 6, but for now, let's roll with it. It's to the end of the deck. 42 3/4. 42 3/4, nice. We're gonna kick in like 6 feet maybe. Middle's 5 feet. 2.5 feet, 30. Right there. So let's do 5 feet, I like that.
This is a point in the competition where having a fourth or third set of hands, I think would really help anybody. But he's only got 2 of these.
He definitely did it a way more of an efficient way. I'm doing probably the hardest possible way you can do it, I think. So, away she goes, I guess. Guess we're gonna lay out some joists, put our 16s, and then, yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. We're laying out to actually finally catch my breath here. Yeah, so now we're just laying out our 16s so that when we put our joist in, everything jives.
Bobby's looks a little high, maybe 8 inches too high. You have to deduct the joist and the beam. A lot of times we forget to deduct the beam, but on a job site you have time to fix it. Here, you don't. So Bobby's getting a little frustrated too. The pressure's getting to him. I'm seeing it. So we'll see what happens.
Just getting mad at it. It's tough when it's so like time crunch like this, and it's hot in here. You guys can't tell I'm sweating. So you're trying to move around, be efficient, stay ready with it. Because I slid these beams back though, I gotta cut a bit off the bottom. Different floor layouts. We're gonna make these right instead of doing it twice.
Right now they look kind of like rails. I could probably do a backside board slide, kick flip fakie out, or do a nollie crooked grind, across there, or snowboard, grind on it. Some visualizing.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
You need a sheet of paper, or you could feel free to write on the wall.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out what I'm gonna do here.
You hurt yourself?
I come to figure. Just between us though.
Bobby's a damn bull rider. He don't get hurt.
Bobby rides bulls, but he also sometimes is a stubborn as one. Maybe that's because he was raised by bulls.
Since on our build, it kind of 45s in and then comes together, I'm just trying to figure out how the heck am I gonna build this frame now. I think my best bet is just to kind of wing it really, so.
Damn, that's a tough mess up, but I'd better just fix it now. Take 1.25 inches, take 1/2 inch.
Okay. Building up to this challenge, like I was actually pretty nervous, just between us. But now that we're going, there's so much going on, I don't have time to be nervous. So, I guess we'll just do a 45 and a 45, and then hopefully it works. That's sketchy.
Are you finding the adulations in the floor creating an element of difficulty?
Yeah, so mistake on my end, I cut it with the beam being too far forward. So now I gotta go back, cut 1 inch off one side, 1/2 inch off the other side, so it's actually level.
It'll pay off doing it now.
But yeah, trying to do it later when there's joists on it, be a little bit backwards. All right, let's fix these guys, and we'll get back to rolling. Worst thing in the world to cut sometimes. Just pieces flying at you.
Whipping out the cheek cuts. What angle did you go with for this?
Oh no. Now that you mentioned that, I did the wrong angle.
Did you go with a 45?
Yeah, thinking too quick.
You'll get 90 degrees when you put two 45s together. That makes a right or orthogonal triangular shape. He's looking for more of a 45, not a 90.
That's okay. We revived it. It's definitely a lot different, man. My whole life, I've always used wood. That's it. Used pressure treated wood, framing, just regular pine. This stuff, man, it's amazing, but it's super heavy. That's the only thing I can say about it. No, it wasn't even on 0. Wonderful. Frickin' sawdust jammed in this thing. That's a bit better.
We should already have our spots. We still got the screw holes. Where are you? Okay, there we go. We're back.
When you work by yourself, you gotta use your tools, you gotta use your environment, materials to your advantage to help you. When things that require 3 or 4 hands, you don't have it. You need to think on your feet.
Place your bets now. Who you got your money on? Put your money where your mouth is. So far, they're neck and neck. They each got 4 posts, 2 beams. They each went with a triple ply beam, triple beams.
Now, since these are on, you can take this puppy off. You don't have to worry about it landing on you anymore. Alrighty. It's hot in here. It is very hot in here, yes.
You guys are cooking.
We had the heat way up in the shop just for that dramatic effect.
Like here, and you're gonna go here. We'll do the same thing as the last 2 beams. Throw a little safety screw in there, get the second actual beam up, nail that in, and then we'll be laughing again. Just for safety, especially if you're up on a ladder or somewhere high, you don't want this coming down on you.
Now this is the next conundrum we're in. How are we gonna mount this puppy with only 1 person? Are you fitting? Really good, thank God. Thank God it fits good. Use our spare block here. Yeah, if we use our spare block, there we go. That should kind of act as second person holding it. Okay, put that there. It worked. I was almost positive that was gonna fall.
Let's take a look at the preparation. So he has it written 10 by 10, 2 feet high. And he has his drawing here, quick layout. He's got to scratch things. So this is what he's planning to do, which is good. We want to see this. Over here, we have Josh's plan. His is a little more in-depth, a little more of a plan going on here if you actually look. So we can kind of see what they're planning to do when we look at this, which confirms that Bobby knows it's supposed to be 2 feet high, and he is 2 feet high. This is exactly how I would do it, the way Josh is doing it today.
Well, things are starting to take shape. They're starting to take different shapes. If you notice, this is doing this, and this over here, Bobby's is looking a little bit cattywampus. That's a technical term. We use cattywampus for when it looks a little wompy. From behind the scenes, sometimes it's hard not to interject and say, excuse me, but your deck's a foot high. What are you doing? But you know, you gotta just hold that in and keep that inside until the end, till tomorrow on site where I can be like, your deck was a foot high yesterday, bud.
That's so low. Oh man, what are we gonna do about this? Perfect, because I lasered them. And then that side obviously isn't perfect because there's a big dip right there. God, it's gotta come up another 1.5 inches.
All right, you guys have 1 hour left. 1 hour! We're at the halfway point. Hopefully all the math and the headaches are over with. We'll see how it goes from here. 1 hour left.
There's an hour left and the job's not done.
Pressure makes diamonds. So all this pressure might just turn these boys into some diamonds or pieces of rotten coal.
I think once the joist starts flying, this is gonna go really quick. This is the last slow bit. I can get the beams up, start covering stuff, and start those stairs. I was hoping to have those going by now, but we can't complain. We just gotta keep going.
About this massive dip in the floor. So because of that, everything else is level. This is down 1.5 inches. So what I'll have to do is take the screws out of this bottom saddle, cut this one, put something up here to hold it, slide that in, and then screw it to replace the post. That's the only thing I can think of. And I think that might be the fastest fix that I can go with.
We're getting somewhere. The unwritten rule of thumb, something's gonna go wrong, it's gonna go wrong during an important moment.
I think that's the biggest problem with these super short challenges, is that you have to work with the clock. You gotta be organized. This challenge is literally set up for us to fail, I think. So.
You look like you could use a refreshment.
Oh, you feeling parched?
A little bit, you wanna crack it?
Ooh, a little bit of cool, refreshing Coca-Cola.
The on-site Coke delivery. Right on.
He was like, you want Coca-Cola or something like that? I was like, yeah, I took a sip and everything was like, okay, we can relax for a minute here.
Also, we got bubblies in there if you need. I thought the sugar might spike you up.
Woo! Most important thing's layout. This is crazy. If this is wrong, everything's wrong. Yeah, beautiful, that worked out. Okay, sweet. So from our center point here, we can do a little transfer, 4 inches. So we put our center on all our beams. On the front one, I can lay out the exact same pattern so the joists run front to back all the way through. If I held my pencil.
You getting ready for some joists?
It's just about that joist time.
Make the choice for the joist. You want to do it just one time so you don't have to rejoist.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Okay. Are you allowed to give me that kind of information?
No.
Okay.
Donald Trump declassified all that information. So I can give it to you now. We got to stay high energy in here because this is the halfway point. This is where it either make you or break you.
I put my laser on there and I cut all of them because I was thinking too fast, and now that's 1.5 inches low, so I gotta replace the post and jack it up so it's level. Because this is like super low.
Do what you gotta do, brother.
This is our good one. Just gonna double check. Should be better. Still got to come up a bit, but it's better than what it was. Obviously, I wish I could fix it, but we're at the hour point, and I still need to build another beam to do our 45 and then cut stringers.
Too easy. Another big kicker here, it's a 10-foot deck. We have a rim on the front and the back, so we gotta take 3 inches away from that. Otherwise, your deck would be too big. Oh yeah. These two joists are actually what's gonna keep the whole place square too. Most important first two.
Now, we gotta figure out where we're putting this now. That is conveniently perfect on that one. I'm gonna go 22.5, and this is where we want that in line with. We're gonna put this closer like that, maybe? Just don't even know what the heck to do. Honestly, you know what? Yeah, we're just gonna do it.
Look,
We have ourselves a little spectator. He just wants to see what everyone else is seeing. It seems like they're both doing a very similar approach to using the 3 beams.
Now, think ahead. I've been having trouble lifting this up. So we're gonna build the beam like this. And get my hand under there and just lift it right up. We're going, we're getting her. I'm at the point where I would have appreciated it 1 more hour, but you just gotta keep going, man. It's just a competition. We're here having fun. This is just for bragging rights.
I'm gonna try and save a bit of time here and stack these up and cut them both. Now, because the underboard's important, I'm gonna cut with the square too and keep it straight.
Me just watching the guys build rather than having to do the build myself is a relief.
this is just exhausting. You know, it's a long, grueling event. And even the hosts, even us, we go through it too. We're out here working hard.
I like this version of the competition versus what I'm in there with them. Working over here on this end, it's a much higher hill.
Being in the competition without having to do the build, it's a lot harder than doing the actual build because I have to stand there and watch knowing that I would do such a better job than these guys. It's hard out here, man. This is really hard work. You want chip, Bobby?
You're a legend.
I might be cheating. One of these chips might just push him over the edge. Josh won't let me hand feed him. He's picky like that.
Might seem like he's got more than enough time left to do this, but I mean, how far is he willing to go and how much is he able to get done is really the question, I guess.
I'm feeling better now. I think we're getting on a good roll here. Everything starts to come together once we get to this point. It looks a lot better than just floating beams.
Oh no. No, come on. There we go. Now, thinking to make my life a bit easier, just gonna do that. No. What the heck?
See the design of the inside of this 6x6? Triangles. Triangles is the strongest shape in the world.
So it's where we want our deck to end. So this has to come in a lot.
go. Interesting move there.
Yeah, if we thought way far ahead, the layout would have landed better, but gotta make it look symmetrical.
Symmetrical is important.
All right, this is looking strong, straight, sturdy, level, and all sized correctly. How you feeling, Bobby?
I'm feeling a lot more confident now than I did.
Okay, good. If we treat this as a learning exercise, do you feel like you're gonna come out of this tomorrow as a better carpenter than you were this morning?
I'd say so. I think it definitely taught me how important planning is.
Yes, yes.
So,
Keeping your cool, planning it out, and sticking to the plan.
yeah, I think my biggest problem I had with this is I didn't know what I was doing, so I didn't know how to really start it, you know what I mean? And I think since I'm going, I kind of have an idea. Okay, I know what I got to do, right?
Nice to see a measuring tape come out.
I've been measuring. Might have to mess with our layout a little bit, but that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay.
I'm not sure right now if this could bear the force of me stepping upon it, you know? These boys got to make it sturdy.
We're just cutting 5 joists. These are gonna be the 5 joists that are also gonna sit on our front beam there. So I'm gonna cut these, fasten these, then we'll move on to the rim joist. So we have our frame, we'll put those other 2 joists, and then we'll try to get the stringers done as fast as possible. We got a good game plan here.
That might not be enough. Let's just cut it and see, I guess. Let's go a bit big here.
Now you think you're going to finish early, or you think it's going to be right down to the wire?
I think we're bringing it right to the wire.
Woo! Sing it to the choir and bring it to the wire. Oh, I like this move right here. Scribing them angles. How you feeling, Bobby? You think you're going to be coming right down to the wire here?
Oh, big time.
This is a real race of endurance. These guys got to dig deep, deep within, and build it up.
Yeah, I think we're gonna wanna just do this 3rd one and then we'll do these. Yeah, I think that's the play here. Okay.
Trying to figure out these angles right now. A little tough actually, because they're not the same. It might have been how I built it. Might be a bit differently shaped, but we're gonna try our best here, keep rolling with this. I think we can figure this out.
30 minutes left. 30 minutes remaining. That's all you got.
Oh Lord.
You think we're going to see any sets of stairs coming out of this?
We might see a stringer. Did I give them enough time to do this properly? Not really. And that's what makes this fun.
Yeah, that's gotta get back. Dang.
So Bobby's got his cheek cuts connecting. You going with 22.5 for these cheeks?
Yeah,
Yeah?
I gotta change what I'm doing though.
You gotta change what you're doing?
'Cause I don't think you can just have a joint floating, so.
This is the tricky part you're facing here, eh?
Yeah, because the planning wasn't there. We're gonna have to do some MacGyver, I think.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
That's looking pretty good. That's a pretty nice little miter right there.
This is so wrong. This is so bad. This is the first time I've ever tried this. This is so bad. This is where that planning really helps, man. My beam is just a tad too long. That's the issue here. You know what? Honestly, I can still do it. So I might as well see where our beam lands, like this.
Bobby, you look like you could use a hand. Here you go. Just gotta, yeah, there you go.
Right there.
There you
Now
go.
I got a hand with me.
All right, gave the boy a hand. Don't say I never did nothing for you.
People are going to say it's rigged because you gave him a hand.
It's rigged because I gave him a hand.
Oh, shit. I don't know what to do about this. Yeah. Shit. Sawzall.
How are you not going in?
All right, thank God.
Oh, this one's different. Oh no.
Sawzall doesn't always solve your problems, you know what I mean?
Watching Bobby try to cut a triple ply 2x8 OC beam with a Sawzall was comedic relief for us. That probably soaked up about half his time in the competition. I believe it took him 15 minutes to cut through that.
I thought my angles would work out a bit better, but they ended up not. So I had to cut the end off some of the beams. I wish they were a bit cleaner, but yeah, you know, it kind of came in clutch for me at, you know, a sharp point, so.
What's happening here is Bobby's finding out how tough OC lumber is to cut with that Sawzall.
This stuff is tough to cut with a Sawzall. I would have went with a chainsaw personally at this point in the game.
Woo! Melted it together.
Looks good, looks good.
Normally wood cuts a lot easier than
Oh
OC
yes,
lumber.
with a reciprocating saw, absolutely.
It's on there. That's all that matters. We gotta cut this side because I wasn't prepared.
You gotta do what you gotta do. He's getting it done. That's what this is all about.
Out of the time crunch, you'd be able to sit down, think about it, know your angles. But like when time's pressing you, you're not thinking at the level you should be.
Oh man,
Bobby, feeling the pressure yet?
big time.
I see minimal shiners too, which is good. I'd have a few shiners by now, I think. I'd just paint them black with some spray paint. Nobody would know.
How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this? How do I do this?
Not gonna look nice, but we're gonna make it work.
I'm not sure if this is what they envisioned building this morning. I think they might have thought they were in for a little bit of a square action. And these little angles, I think, might have threw them for a little loop, but they're doing pretty good. Two very different looking structures we have. It's gonna be interesting to see what the judge says.
Just trying to make anything work, you know? She's coming. We're almost done. I would never do this on one of your job sites, okay?
Okay. That's why I don't give you 2 hours to frame a deck.
Oh no.
Your gun messing up, Bobby?
Yeah.
You want the other gun?
No, just gonna try these nails. Hopefully it works. Hopefully it's the nails, Mike. I trust it. I trust it.
All right, 15 minutes left. There's tons of time. I could build 3 of these in that time. Let's go.
Rome was built in 15 minutes, that's a fact.
Bobby boy, feeling funky?
Feeling very funky. Yes.
Feeling very funky.
We need to measure these 100.5 to the long.
Josh, when I was your age,
Yeah.
I would have built 10 of these in less time.
Oh yeah?
Just letting you know. What are you cooking up in your brain? What's going on?
The angles are slightly different. I'm just gonna try and, I know, come through and cut it. I was thinking about that, but
Just cutting 45-degree angle on there, so everything jives good. I think it's a 45, or is it a 22.5? Too long. Yeah, no, it's gonna have to be a 45. Yeah, what the frick? Did I grab the wrong board? Yeah, I grabbed the wrong board. That sucks.
10 minutes!
Oh my gosh.
tons of time, no excuses. Get it done.
Woo! 10 minutes, boys! Your families are depending on you.
You're gonna go home with no food for them.
Your whole bloodline is looking down on you.
This is the most important day of your life, actually.
I don't know if these guys understand the magnitude of the situation right now. All this has to be perfect. It's got to be awfully level, you know? Not off level, which some things are looking a little bit. So. Oh, are you switching the directions of the joists for this baby?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like the shapes that are coming through. He's using some ancient geometry here, I think, and he's really lining it up, different shapes. That's cool. Bold move, Joshy boy.
I really got to get this thing done. I got 10 minutes, so we got to go in hyperdrive here.
All right, they're both choosing methods that I wouldn't have chose myself, but I feel like the time constraint is not allowing them to pull out their pencil and paper and do the math, so they're doing a lot of freestyle, cut along the line kind of stuff, which truthfully wouldn't affect the finished product, but they're being judged on the frame today, so we'll see how that goes. Both using a similar approach that I wouldn't have used, but hey, they're using it, and we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, and at the end of this, we do need to let one of you guys go.
Okay.
I hope you're feeling good because you only got 5 minutes left.
Oh,
5 minutes. Bobby, 5 minutes is all you have. Don't let it get to your head. You only have 5 minutes to do all this work.
one opportunity.
This is everything you've ever wanted.
This is everything you ever wanted. Mom's spaghetti. This is that mom spaghetti moment, boys.
This is your mom's spaghetti moment.
I know it's real close here. I'm just gonna try and get some blocking in here, make it a bit more structural. We'll see if we can squeeze this out. Oh gosh.
Let's go, Bobby. Let's go. Bobby, is he going to bring it in last minute? Is he going to bring it home? We're all on the same team here, but he's got a couple of things to do before he can say he's done. And you know what? A valiant effort. Even if he doesn't finish, you keep going until the bitter end.
If I can at least get this board up, I'll be happy that I can go home at the end of the day and say I gave it my all.
Oh. Oh God.
No pressure, but there's only 1 minute left. 1 minute remaining, no big deal, 1 minute.
But think of it as 60 seconds, boys.
One of these boys is gonna go home and cry about it.
Probably.
10, 9, 8,
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Drop your shit.
That was a haul.
All right, boys, how do you feel?
Tired. Like I want another Coca-Cola.
Now, our judge has not seen any of the progress thus far, and he has no idea who built which one, as usual. Today, I invited the infamous and none other than the Instagram legend, Toolaholic.
My name's Kiefer Lineback. I am the Toolaholic online, and I was invited here by the Wood Bully to judge a deck framing competition.
I'm not sure really what to expect. I don't really know what he's going to be looking for, but I definitely think he's going to want a high standard when it comes to what we're building.
Hopefully it's what he's looking for, and I hope I can hit everything he wants.
You can be as mean as possible and as nice as possible and make your deliberation.
We'll pick this one first. There, unlock the pendulum, step 1. Anytime a laser like this flashes at you, it's telling you that something's wrong. It's locked. You can use it in a locked position if you're doing something out of plane, but the flash is to let you know, hey, this is actually not leveling right now. We want to bump this up a little bit, be above the framing and it's gonna shoot a level plane out over the surface. We'll start with the obvious back corner. So 2 feet high, and we're at 33. Looks like they got confused and they were aiming for 2 feet on the beam, but we're at 26 on the beam. So overall height, 33 and 3/8 here. Measuring around here is irrelevant. You wouldn't want to go around and measure a deck like this because obviously your grade could slope. So you could have 40 inches over there and 33 over here. So this is where you want to measure off of the laser. You don't even have to use a tape. You can take a board and then you can place a board and draw a line at that laser line as your reference and then just move that around. So we're at 20 3/4 plus here. Come over here. 21, so it's already just shy of a 1/4 inch. Getting worse. 21 1/8. What just happened here? 21 1/4 to 20 1/2. We're way out right here. I don't love the way this cut looks. Obviously, it's a little rough, and I don't like the fasteners out here. I mean, those aren't sunk at all. Would this be the exterior that's visible to the client? No. So there's going to be a fascia over it or something like that, a deck board.
I'd sincerely hope so.
Yeah, exactly. See here, we got fasteners out, ripple in the post cap. Beam is not square. Yeah, I don't like this. So that comes from improper gun angle when you're shooting your toenails in. Shoot too shallow and it'll hit the beam and then pop out. You see, you can use this for joist layout, 16 across a square, and obviously you can use that to show square and when something is not square. And then now just come and place them right here and see how far out of level we are. So you see, if I bring this up to bring us in between the shadows, how far out we are here. So competitor one, not looking too good. There's a certain degree of tolerance expected in an exterior carpentry project. Obviously, if you're using pressure treated lumber, you're not gonna get everything the same dimension. You're gonna have crown lumber. You're gonna have stuff that looked level one day and then you come a couple days later and it's dried out and it's moved on you. So I would say within 1/8, 1/4, usually, if you can aim to get close to that, you're good. But this is engineered lumber, so it should be straight. And obviously you can do the old Instagram famous level test. And it already dropped, so something is not too bueno there. How did that happen with engineered lumber? Yeah. Okay, so this is pretty impressive for 2 hours. This cut's not bad, everything's somewhat in plane. Whenever I'm doing a multi-lamination beam, I like to join everything and chop it as one so that we keep everything in plane as nice as possible. When you cut individual layers and laminate them, sometimes you have things shift when you're nailing especially. So you can see these two are pretty close, but this one's kind of shifted in a little bit. Most of the time your beams are hidden if your deck is skirted, but sometimes they're exposed. And if they're exposed, you want to keep things as neat as possible. I want to take a look at this one for a little bit too and see what there is to see. So we didn't hit the mark on the 2 foot here either, but they're going to judge from lowest part of grade. So yeah, if we were going for 2 foot, neither of these technically made it because we still need a deck surface on top of this, which would then push you above the 2 foot mark. And if your municipality required 2 foot as your minimum for no rail, you'd be failing, unfortunately. You really want to watch your fastener placement. You see you have nails just about to peek out the sides here. This one's actually out a little bit. So anytime you have a shank visible, you could pretty much write that fastener off. They won't count it because there's no hole in the fastener anymore. So this person attempted to frame on 16s, which was close, but we're looking for 12s for a diagonal. On a typical deck, if you were decking perpendicular, so across the joist, 16 is the typical center to center. But if you go on a 45, watch what happens when you move the tape. The 16 is floating in the air. 12 is what's recommended. So both of these decks don't meet qualifications to be able to support material on a 45, unfortunately. Not good. I mean, I don't want to be mean, but I don't love the exposed fasteners like that. And then also, I'm just not sure what's going on in these triangular portions, how we were planning on supporting the boards, because even if we weren't going on a diagonal, they could be just incomplete from timing, right? But even if we weren't going on a diagonal, this one looks a little flatter. We can kind of take a look and see from this. So in terms of level, we're closer, I would say. So this whole beam is cocked forward, so we're only making contact at the back of the beam. The whole beam is twisted, it's leaning. So we have no contact across the first 2 plies of the lamination. Lots of misfasteners as well. play a little song. That's the Miss Fastener song, Big Gap. So here's what happens when you cut each joist individually instead of snapping a line and cutting each one off of a central reference point. So this was cut to a measurement, and this one's a quarter long. This one's good, but this one's already pushing the rim out. That one's almost 3/8 long. That's an 1/8 short. There's no miter or anything happening here. I don't know what the plan was with this. So one side is not mitered, but kind of mitered, a bevel meeting a square cut. And then this side's a square cut just going off into space. So this is what it should look like. And this is what we have. Any deck like this, I like to try and build from the center out so that it's equal on both sides. When you start from one side and work, it's almost like you're boxing yourself into a corner. If you don't start in the middle, you could be 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, 8. And if you're using a material that you have visible fasteners on the surface, your deck framing will reflect in the final product. If you have hidden fasteners and you can get away with going willy-nilly with your joist, then by all means, but I always try and make my layouts mirrored so that the deck looks symmetrical. I feel like extra minus points for this. I don't like exposed fasteners and then bent over and beat in. And then general level, we go to 4 points. So 27.5, good bit out already, 3/4 of an inch. So we started at 27.5. So we're 1/2 inch out at least, and we're getting better, back at 28. So in short, neither deck is level, unfortunately. Earthquake test. Oh, this one's way stronger. Well, it's lower, but yeah. And this one withstands the earthquake test much better than the other one, for sure. Yeah. Good intentions on the blocking, started it. You can see this is on an angle. This is all out of square. All right, well. All right, okay, so we reached the fun part where unfortunately I have to reveal which deck I prefer. So I wanted to ask you, I mean, first off, how much framing experience do either of you have?
Time-wise, probably 5-6 years doing framing and decks, yeah.
And many decks, or?
Yeah.
I did decks and fences for like 3 years, and then I framed.
So you're newer?
Yeah, a bit newer to it, yeah.
Okay. Going over the two decks right off the bat, unfortunately, this deck was closer to hitting the elevation that we needed, so we were aiming for 24 inches. Even though this deck is slightly higher, it is closer to the intended target, so that was a point to that deck. This deck, unfortunately, something was missed in the elevation of the beam and joist, so we are much higher than we're supposed to be. So that was a pretty big knock right off the bat. Parameter was to be at 24, so that was a pretty heavy hit. Both decks, unfortunately, were quite out of level. So without starting on an equal plane, everything is all over the place. So if I took a laser and went across each corner, we're over an inch out on both decks in some spaces, right? So it is unfortunate with that. A lot of fasteners exposed. Obviously you're gonna see the fasteners, but them being proud of the surface. Catch hazards, it's like a laceration, like it's not good. I know this on this deck especially, the fasteners were hammered in flat. I get that it was a time constraint type thing. I would have probably preferred you pulled them and then reshot them. But yeah, that was another heavy knock on this deck. Deck one, the clip corners just got me like right off the bat. I don't know what was happening with the triple in the front there, the cutting of the 45. A little rough on that cut. Talking about positive points, fastener placement on the beam was pretty good on the lamination. So you see we have 4 and then they're in rows closer to 16 and they're offset, so that was proper. I like the ends of the cuts. Everything is fairly square. These cuts here, where we have the 45 meeting the 90, they're pretty square. This deck, unfortunately, was more out of square than this deck. This deck, I felt that they got further along. They're into blocking. The spans of the joist, like between each joist, is a little more with what we want to see. So generally, when you're framing a deck, you want 12 inch on center for your joist. So both decks were framed on 16. You want 12 because the increased span of a board on a 45, you need the joists closer together. You see how we have a shallower plane on the dog ears? So that would automatically set you up for a hard time in the decking process, because if we were going on a 45, by the time you got to that outer angle and it's not at a 45, it's shallower, you'd have triangular filler strips at the end. So that's a miss. Like beam leaning, I caught that like right away. I didn't love that, but I know that it's hard to stabilize things. I'm impressed that you got this much done in 2 hours. This deck did get a little further ahead. This deck is more stable. Okay, so we have deck 1, deck 2. Okay, so we have deck 1, deck 2. This was a really tight one. I know they only had 2 hours. You have the added pressure of the cameras. Everybody's kind of scrambling around. There's a lot to kind of keep your mind involved on. But after careful deliberation, I think I'm gonna have to go with deck 2.
Hey, there we go. Good job, buddy.
No problem, no problem.
Yeah, that was a good outcome. I mean, kind of figured it was going to go that way, but I'm glad it worked out that way.
Ultimately, I agree with the judge's decision on this one. I think Bobby made some critical measurement errors at the very beginning that caught up to him.
I think he was pretty straightforward. Like, everything he said that was wrong, right? I don't think he was being too harsh. Like, the harder the judge is, the better. I'd rather someone dissect my whole work and tell me what I did wrong than just be like, oh, it's a good job, like you did a good deck.
Well, I think I did make some pretty big mistakes, like building the deck about 7 inches too high, and then there's little things here and there.
Josh's was closer to the actual parameters than Bobby's, and I believe that's why the decision was made, and I agree with it. I am very proud of both of them to be able to get as much done as they did in those 2 hours, and I am going to be tightening up the schedule going forward, assuming that they will work at this speed indefinitely.
Like I said, it was close. There's positive attributes to both, but this deck was closer to being square, a lot further along, and we were closer to the elevation that we needed. But that's not to say that it wasn't perfect either, obviously. There's a lot of room for improvement, but again, I'm not trying to throw you under the bus. It is what it is, right? It's great that we have 2 standing structures in 2 hours, and at the end of the day, if you can walk away from this learning something, then it's worth doing, right? So it's good.
And that's it. We're done. I want to know, do you agree with the judge's decision, or do you think this one should have been a winner over that one? Feel free to click the link in the description, sign up, and prove yourself.
Blast that subscribe button. Drop a link in the comments. Follow me on OnlyFans.